Johnny, the tree lady here with
I'm Megan.
Meg. You always sit back from me, and then it's like it makes me look like I'm like way up here. So let's bring it in just a
Because
little
I
bit.
don't fit. Okay,
You
anyway.
fit, you fit just fine. So great. So before we hopped on, Megan had mentioned how she went to one of our one of not one of our customers is somebody that we hope will be one of our customers, and had an interesting situation that we wanted to share with you. And of course, we come to you with tree talk because we want to talk about trees. We love trees. We
Love
love what
tree.
we do. Don's Tree Service here in Atlantic. So I kind of started off without introducing us, but I should have did that. This is all new. But anyway, tell them what happened.
So,
Tell them what happened.
I was actually doing an estimate for a neighbor. The neighbor, like, so my restart. Okay, I was doing an estimate and I wrote up the estimate. I was just in my car writing up the estimate, getting ready to send it. And I look over, and the neighbor to the lady who I was doing the estimate for had 5 completely dead white oaks. And you can tell these used to be gorgeous white oaks. They looked like they used to be pretty healthy, but now they have like blue mold over them. The bark is falling off. Not a leaf, not a branch that was like viable in sight. All 5 of them completely dead. And I was like, what the hell happened? And I looked closer, and you can tell that in the past, someone came through and just chopped, like crown reduced, a white oak.
I wouldn't call it crown reduction. That's called topping. Crown
Yeah,
reduction is when
topping.
you properly reduce the canopy of a tree, and it's symmetrical. And you do a little crown cleaning. You bring the height of the tree down. That's a proper crown reduction. Which, by the way, I normally would not do on a white oak anyway.
Yeah.
That's for a different type of tree. At least in my opinion, I just think as an arborist that it's not healthy to crown reduce big mature trees like that. But finish what you were saying.
And the reason why is because the way white oaks grow and the way like hardwoods grow, you they don't allow you to crown reduce or top them like you do a crepe myrtle. And that's what happened to this tree is you had this tree that used to be gorgeous. Now all of its limbs were cut about, I want to say like 20 or 30 feet back, so all the leaves are gone, all the like branches that would actually bring in the energy for the tree, like from the
The
sun.
canopy, yeah.
Yeah, all the canopy is gone, and instead you're just left with the skeleton of a tree.
Yeah.
And don't grow back like that.
They don't. They don't.
And same with like most oaks, you can't
You can't really do
chop
that.
them in the middle of the branch and it grows back.
Right.
Just because of the way they grow and the biology of the tree.
Not good. Not
That's
good.
that's like if I cut off my arm, it's not growing back. Just because the way I'm made. If I was a gecko, that'd be different, you know? That'd be very, very different if I was, like a lizard. But I'm
Yeah.
not. So
Is it a salamander that grows
yeah,
back?
I think it's a salamander. Yeah, a salamander, not a gecko.
Okay, because I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, dude, is that, can I cut a gecko's limb off? No, but anyway.
No, like the tail. Yeah, I think it's a salamander.
It might be. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can tell us what is a salamander or
If it's a
like
salamander
gecko.
or a gecko.
Hey, John Doe, how are you doing? Kevin,
y'all.
hey, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. But yeah, it's important. And we're not saying, especially if you're not watching, if you're in Atlanta, give us a call. But if you're not in Atlanta and you're hearing this, make sure you have a company that has certified arborists on staff that actually have people that are trained how to properly trim the trees. And we even get calls for people people call us and say, "Hey, can you just take the top out of my tree?" And it's just so not healthy for the tree for you to do that to these beautiful oaks or even maples. Maples are a softer wooded tree, but if you got this gorgeous maple and
Juliet.
no, that's all right. We want to say hi to the people joining in. So if you do have a tree such as a maple or something like that that has a very large canopy and maybe you feel like you're not getting enough sunlight on the grass or it's too close to the house, you don't have to chop the top off. That's just, it's bad. Topping is bad, just bad. What we can do is come in and do We can do a crown reduction, but more what I like to do is called thinning, crown thinning. It's a little bit more nuanced, where you take selective limbs and selective branches out, but you still keep the integrity of the tree and the integrity of the canopy intact. So
Yeah, so the way that would look would be like, oh, thank you for the thumbs up, Juliet.
thank you.
But the way that would look is like, imagine you have a screen, right? And the screen is really, really dense, and you can't really see through it because the holes are just so small. What we do when we crown clean or we just thin out the canopy a little bit, we just make those holes a little bit bigger by taking out just a few of the limbs, but leaving the big limbs and leaving the main limbs that produce like 80%, 80, 90% of the tree's energy still on the tree. So
Yeah.
the tree's gonna live, the tree's gonna still look beautiful, keep that same nice, healthy shape, but you should be able to get a little bit of grass in there, get a
Yeah.
little sun in your
Yeah.
backyard. If you're like growing a garden or growing some grass,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest thing is like there can be a balance between
Yeah.
like having the yard that you want where you have the grass and you have the flowers and everything, and also still appreciating and keeping your trees and loving on
Yeah.
your trees.
And just my own opinion, and I know in Georgia, especially in Atlanta, people love their lawn. And actually, we do have a landscape division, so we
Yeah.
love lawns too. But if I have a choice between a tree and a lawn, I'm gonna pick the tree, because it's so important to our ecosystem. The other thing, going back to thinning is a great compromise. Instead of taking too much out of the tree or cutting the tree down, thinning is a great compromise, because if you get the sun to filter through, and you can get enough sun during the day to filter through, you don't have to cut the tree down, and that way you can still have a lawn, but you still get to keep the tree too. Also, if you have any questions that we can ask, that's one of the reasons why we started Tree Talk, was so that if you have a question about your trees, you can share this. Even if you share it afterwards and you can leave a question in the comment sections, we would appreciate that. This is just our chance to jump on for like 10 or 15 minutes, share a little knowledge or some insights for the day, to help people with their trees.
Yeah. So
See if we have any
checking if
questions.
any questions. No questions. But this is just like a fun fact. So I'm training to be a certified arborist at the moment. And one of the things that really kind of interested me when we were talking about the biology of trees is palm trees.
Yeah.
They are they are interesting trees where
Yeah.
with other trees like oaks, you can like trim branches and you can sort of cut into not you don't want to cut into the trunk, but if you're they're just very fragile trees. Like you have the little bulb at the top, and then if you like mess up the bulb at all, the tree is dead, like
Yeah.
completely dead,
Yeah.
because it doesn't have those layers. Like when you look at
Like the bark. It doesn't have a bark. Like
yeah, it doesn't have a bark and it doesn't have the same layers of growth. Like the tree grows, correct me if I'm wrong, but it grows to its maximum width and then it just goes up.
Up, yeah.
It never gets wider. And I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah. Well, they get a little wider, as they put the fibers on as they get a little older. Like
Yeah.
they go into a ground one size, and then 10 years later they are bigger, but they don't have the same growth rings like you would on a deciduous tree or even a conifer. It's not the same. But the other cool thing is that
Still learning.
you still learning. Yeah, we're both still learning. But the cool thing about palms, which one of the reasons why you find them in more tropical areas where there's storms and stuff like that, is because they will bend. So they're more flexible than your oaks or your maples or something like that you would find in a different area. So if you notice, like if you see those big storms that come through the Caribbean or through Florida, you'll see the palm trees. Yeah, some of them do get uprooted or whatever, but they're made to bend, to sway and bend. So that is kind of interesting. Once again, any other questions? We'll give it about another minute or two. But once again, I'm Donnie, the owner of Don's Tree Service. This is Megan. And she, once again, is studying to be to support a company or have a company on your in your yard that encompasses those core values, we're the people for you. At least I hope we are. So, and if you're not in the Atlanta area, once again, make sure you get a tree service that really wants to educate the consumer and doesn't always just want to cut the trees down. We think that's important. Yeah.
Also, talking about our core values, and I think this speaks to the culture that has been created in downstream service. We actually have a soccer team.
Yes.
If
Yes.
you guys are in the area, like we play. Should we just say like?
Yeah, we can say, yeah. If you're in Atlanta and you want to support our soccer team, we play on Friday nights at Silverback Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, over
So
off
cool.
of, what's the name of the street? North Crest? I think it's up North Crest.
Just put in Silverback Stadium.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just put in Silverback.
Silverback
It's a
Stadium.
soccer
Our
field.
game tonight's going to be about 8:15.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Come out, get some tacos, get some pupusas,
Yes.
get some salsa.
Yes.
Insane.
So good.
Such great
So
fun.
that way you get a chance to come out and have a little fun with us too and support our
Exactly.
team. So
Yeah.
we would love that.
Yeah, and it's literally our team. Our guys, like, they love to play football, and they created a team.
Soccer. Yeah.
I was like, football
I know,
in Spanish.
exactly.
Yeah.
In Spanish it is football.
Yeah.
Literally.
But, like, they love to play, and so they had a league, and then they created a team of their own because they all work together, and then they all play
together. So yeah.
So it is one of my favorite things to do on Fridays, and the food is delicious. So good. Please come out for the food. If you're not coming out for the team, come out for the food.
Or to hang out with us.
Or
Yeah.
come out with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have
So
a great
once
time.
again, thank you, John, Kevin, Juliet, and anyone else that's been watching. We appreciate the opportunity
Very much so.
to come to you. Once again, we'll be doing this every week. I was going to change it to Wednesdays, but you know what? So far, Friday seems to be
Friday,
working out. Yeah. So thank you again. Have a great day. Enjoy this weekend. And if you can, come out and watch our soccer team. That would be awesome. Woo! You have a good one.
Here you go.